Hi Wildings, welcome back to the Wilding Tarot YouTube channel, where we do intuitive tarot card readings on basically whatever you want, whenever you want, but mostly focusing on love and relationships and spiritual development. My name is Jade Rewilding and I will be reading for you today. I will get into a little bit more detail about our reading in a moment, but for now, enjoy the vibes of me setting up our ritual space and getting the energy ready and open for our channeled messages. I do want to have a real quick disclaimer that these videos aren't necessarily being uploaded in the order that I recorded them, because we've had a 4-day blackout where I live. So I've had no power to upload any of my clips to my computer and upload them to YouTube. So if I say things out of order, that's why. But I think that's enough for today. We're about ready to start, so let's get into the video. Welcome to your air sign general energy reading for today, Wildings. It's time to get into the actual reading of the day. I'm doing general readings on this channel for the next couple of videos. I've already done an earth sign video, and I will be doing a fire and water sign video very soon and uploading them. So you can get general energies based on the elements of your birth chart. If you want a really full reading, you can use your big 5, so your zodiac signs for your sun, moon, rising, Mars and Venus placement. If you want just a super basic reading, you can just use your sun sign. Or if you are particularly wanting to know about maybe your emotional world right now, you can use just your moon sign. But yeah, I would definitely recommend using either your big 3 or your big 5. So your big 3 being sun, moon and rising, and big 5 being those 5 signs that I mentioned earlier for a really full reading. But yeah, it's totally your choice. Just watch what feels relevant, skip what doesn't. Even if you want your big 5, some of the elements of the reading might not be super relevant to you, so just using your intuition to skip whatever's not meant for you. But yeah, today we're going to do readings for Libra, Aquarius and Gemini, which are all air signs. We're just going to get general readings based on what's going on in those energies, and what's likely to be affecting you if you have those placements in your chart. So whenever you're ready, just heading to the relevant timestamp for the sign or signs that are relevant to your birth chart. Remembering that you might have multiple placements in one sign, or you might have just heaps of signs to listen to in the next couple of days as I upload this whole series. But yeah, let me know if you enjoy general readings. It's not something that I do a lot of because I love doing the more relational readings. I think there's huge spirituality in relationships and relating to things in the world. So I generally don't do lots of these, but yeah, let me know if you enjoy it. But whenever you're ready, going ahead and using the description box to head to the relevant timestamp, and wherever you end up, I will see you there in a moment. Hey Libra energies, welcome to your general energy tarot reading for the day. To complement our Libra energies that are here, we're going to get a few more energies out of this zodiac deck just to see what else is going to be relevant to this particular reading. Which should help you know pretty much straight away if it's going to be super relevant to you or not. If you're not sure, just stick around and see what messages come out for you. But Spirit, can we please have other energies for this Libra energy, please? Okay, this is interesting. there anything else? Okay, so what's interesting here, Libras, is that Venus rules Libra and also the 7th house. And Venus also rules Taurus in the 2nd house. So it's very interesting that those energies all came out together. So there's potentially going to be some energies to do with the 2nd house of like kind of yourself in terms of possessions and owning, and then the 7th house of like partnered possessions and owning, and just like partnered like relationships in general. We also have the 3rd house coming out, as well as Mercury energy. So the 3rd house is ruled by Gemini, which represents the lovers in the tarot, and it's very much about kind of like your first kind of like outing into the world from your chart's perspective. It's the first time you're kind of communicating to the world outside of you, so it has a lot to do with like general communication, but also like schooling and anywhere you might learn how to connect to the world on a deeper level. And Gemini and the 3rd house are both ruled by Mercury, which also came out. So I'm expecting a lot of really powerful energies from this reading, just based on these cards that have come out. Yeah, I'm definitely expecting like heavy kind of relational energy at the very least, but let's get a little bit more specific using this traditional tarot. So the Lovers card has come out. Do we have anything else for this Libra reading, please? Can you please clarify the Sun energy? And can you please also clarify this Knight of Wands energy, please? So Spirit is really asking you to reconnect with the way that Spirit intends lovers to show up in our lives. Our lovers are really supposed to be vehicles for our spiritual development, especially in this kind of like age of Aquarius energy. Like, we're no longer going to like institutions and churches to evolve spiritually. We're entering into sacred partnerships and loving relationships, and that's how we're evolving as humans. That's how we're developing spiritually. And it seems like what Spirit's asking you to remember is that all of your relationships, especially your romantic ones, are always calling you to heal, evolve spiritually, and align better with unconditional love. And that's what Spirit's really asking you to do right now. It seems like you've been tempted into like kind of earthly desires a little bit, or earthly patterns of thinking when it comes to relationships. Like, a lot of the kind of stuff we hear about relationships, especially on like movies and TV shows and all that sort of stuff, it can be a little bit of propaganda. Like often it's like someone's like winning, someone's losing, picking a side, like kind of like so much crap. And like usually that doesn't really reflect reality, and it can result in a bit of like distorted thinking and separation. So the Ten of Swords energy is Sun in Gemini, and so Gemini corresponds with this Lovers card, and as well as this like communication and messages energy, and the Sun in its like negative or lower polarity can bring about a lot of like ego stuff. So it seems like there's some kind of like ego like story, thoughts, or temptations or something going on at the moment that needs to be really addressed, and it's important that like there's a big reset when it comes to just like relationships in general or a specific connection, because like the connection being used for spiritual development is like kind of not in the forefront of your mind right now, and Spirit's trying to like kind of realign it into that kind of energy, like trying to realign you with this like Lovers energy, like the true meaning of the card. And it seems like what Spirit's asking to kind of do that is to really redeem yourself when it comes to this Three of Cups and Five of Wands energy. So Five of Wands energy is Saturn in Leo. So Saturn's very much about kind of honoring your truth, but also taking responsibility. And Leo is quite a bold, strong energy. So it's like kind of taking radical responsibility with this Five of Wands coming out up the right way. Like really taking responsibility for your stuff, like your side of any conflict, and yeah, like just being like super like aware and present of how you're contributing to the situation. Then this Three of Cups energy, this is a Mercury in Cancer energy, so it often has a lot to do with like kind of communication, working together, and like sharing emotion. Like Cancer is quite an emotive, like feeling kind of energy, especially like kind of close to home feelings. So like any feelings to do with like general need for like safety and love and connection, and as well as usually like inner child wounds and like childhood trauma stuff. Like it's very much the deep feeling, and yeah, the Sun is like a very it is a very redeeming energy. It's kind of a yang doing kind of masculine energy as well. So Spirit's really asking you to take responsibility for these things and like show up a little bit better in this connection, so that you can kind of hit reset on this connection, and you can like realign with this Lovers, like using a connection for the purpose of spiritual development kind of energy. I think this Queen of Wands energy is coming out because while you're not necessarily like harboring this sort of like radical responsibility and like communication of deep feelings, you're really not going to be able to connect with this Queen of Wands energy. She's kind of the witch of the minor arcana. She represents kind of the fullness of the zodiac. She's fire and water, so she's Aries and Pisces, so she's like a very powerful energy. And for you to be in this power, like you really need to be doing these things. So yeah, this is what Spirit's asking, for you to come back to this Queen of Wands energy and for you to start showing up in this connection a little bit differently. So this Knight of Wands and Ten of Wands energy is very interesting. So the Knight traditionally is like a very passionate, energetic energy, and the Ten of Wands is Saturn in Sagittarius. So it's another kind of radical responsibility kind of card. So when Saturn's in Leo, it's kind of like a very bold, radical responsibility, but it's like almost a little bit immature. Whereas when Saturn's in Sagittarius, it's like kind of more of that philosopher teacher kind of energy. So it can be a little bit more mature. So yeah, I think Spirit's asking that once you kind of like feel like you're getting this stuff together, like personally, that then you're kind of reconnecting to this connection with a lot of like power, passionate energy, and a lot of sharing responsibility with your person. But it's important that you take radical responsibility for your stuff before you go into your connection and try and like figure out who owns what, because if you don't take radical responsibility for your stuff first, then what can happen is when you go into connection, like you're almost expecting the other person to take way more responsibility than what's necessary. So yeah, Spirit wants you to work on this first, and then second, like work on like how that shows up in the connection and like improving that side of things. Okay, let's get some oracles. So we have purity. Yeah, so Spirit's really trying to get you back into the purity of like the real lover's energy, like the way that it's intended, essentially. And potentially Spirit wants you to like not take this too seriously in terms of like working too hard, because sometimes we can be like our own undoing when we like kind of bring that energy into connection. So Spirit's really asking you to make sure that you're still connected to self-love and pleasure and like enjoyment and fun, and like not making this like so much work that the connection is no longer enjoyable, because it's kind of like the enjoyment of the connection that really fuels this spiritual development. Like you need to have both sides of the coin really, really active. Like you need to have the like fun and like light side, and then you also need to have the spiritual work side. So yeah, it's important that you do a lot of self-reflection and work on this wisdom, but yeah, not sacrificing like self-love, pleasure, and all that sort of stuff. What else do we have for you? Was bound to happen. Yeah, so bring love into the situation, kind of as I was just saying, like it's important that you stay connected to love and light even when you're doing like really hard spiritual work. And also I think it's important for like while you're doing the hard work to like remember to bring love into the situation for like yourself and your partner, and just like reconnecting to love at all moments will help immensely when it comes to this connection. So, or this like possible connection, or just like you in relationships in general. It's important that you work through your fears right now. This is probably where this like disconnection is coming from. As I was saying, like with this earthly temptations, it can definitely be fears, and like that kind of negative or ego stories that are usually driven by fears that we're talking about earlier. Oops. But let's get another oracle for you. So we have the divination card. So embrace your powers of divination, which are especially strong right now. You have the ability to see your current situation with crystal clear clarity. So this is definitely this Queen of Wands energy, like reconnecting to that energy and like reconnecting to your like power when it comes to like divination energy is definitely going to help a lot right now. There's probably some things, obviously this is general reading, so it's a little bit vague, but there's probably some things for you to like intuit and reflect on in terms of this kind of divination energy, maybe like pulling cards for yourself, or like reading tea leaves, or whatever it is that you do, there's probably some opportunity for you to like add a little bit more context to this reading using your own divination skills. But we have a affirmation for you, which is, I release all that confines me and I set myself free. So yeah, just feeling free and like releasing any cages that you're putting on yourself, especially to do with your fears and your thinking, will be really important right now. And like sometimes all you need to do to release what confines you is just like talk about some stuff with either your person or someone you trust, like a friend, because yeah, that definitely has the power to get you a long way. But I think I'm going to leave that there. I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed, Libra energies. It's been a pleasure reading for you. And if you can like, comment, and subscribe, I would really appreciate it, because it will help me stay on your feed for more intuitive tarot readings just like this. Until then, ciao. Hi Aquarius energies, welcome to your reading. Let's get into it. So we're going to get a few more energies using this astrology deck to begin with, to find out what our general reading is going to be about. That's very easy. Okay, so we have the 6th house of routine, has a lot to do with work and health and our general daily habits. It's ruled by Virgo energy and Mercury. We also have the 9th house of faith and spirituality. It also often talks about travel and philosophy and like higher education and higher learning. It's ruled by Sagittarius and Jupiter energy. And then we also have the 10th house of the world, which is ruled by Capricorn and Saturn energy. The 10th house has a lot to do with our life purpose, which can kind of be indicated by our career, but usually it's a bigger thing than that. It's kind of our contract when it comes to what we came to this life to contribute in a very physical sense. And Saturn has a lot to do with like kind of honoring our truth and honoring our responsibilities. Yeah, so let's get a little bit more specific using this traditional astrology deck. Okay. So I can see some stickiness here when it comes to love, emotion in general, and also like inspiration and desire. I can sense that it's probably heavily affecting relationships, your career or like path in terms of like fulfilling your life purpose. And maybe like it's having a bit of a negative effect on like your faith, your spirituality, your and your like daily routine. The Chariot card clarified by these energies to me is saying that there's a little bit of a kind of separation from this Wands and Cups energy. So a bit of separation from real inspiration and like abundant kind of positive emotion right now. And in terms of the positive emotion, this Knight of Cups and Page of Cups are both very like kind of passionate, romantic kind of energies. So I would say that kind of the lack of passion and romance in your love life is maybe like taking a toll emotionally on you in other ways. And yeah, it's definitely coming from this like desire for some sort of connection right now that's like not being fulfilled. And it's potentially creating a feeling of like lack. The Temperance card is Sagittarius energy, and the Five of Pentacles card is Mercury and Taurus energy. So when the Five of Pentacles comes out in reverse, it can be kind of like seeing the Taurus energy not in its fullness. So like in its fullness, Taurus rules the second house of possessions and owning, and it's feeling really like kind of abundant. But yeah, this coming out in reverse, I'm sensing some like just feeling of lack when it comes to especially like your purpose, your life, like your life, like kind of balance and feeling like content with your life. Like you're definitely feeling like a lot of like kind of lack and poverty right now, just like based on kind of this lack of like kind of emotion and inspired energy. And what Spirit is saying, so this Six of Swords energy is Mercury in Aquarius, and this Eight of Swords energy is Jupiter in Gemini. So Jupiter is like a magnifying energy, so it's definitely magnifying the Gemini energy, but this coming out in reverse, it's kind of magnifying feelings of separation. Like Gemini representing the twins, it is like in its positive polarity, it's about two sides of the coin coming together, but in the negative polarity, it's about like kind of not being able to see like being separated from another person's perspective. And then this Six of Swords, Mercury represents like moving parts, and Aquarius is like obviously an air sign, so moving parts and air sign usually represents like kind of transition and movement when it's right way up, but upside down it can be a little bit of like stagnation. So yeah, there's definitely some stagnation and isolation here because of like kind of these like feelings of lack. And essentially like what Spirit's really saying with this King of Wands energy is pretty much like you are the master of your own destiny, and this period right now is relying essentially on you kind of taking the reins of your life and like kind of trying to find a way to reignite this like Wands and Cups energy within you, and to not let maybe a lack of romance externally like impact you internally. There's a lot of opportunity for you to use your own inspiration to like make a mark on the world, and for you to direct like kind of feelings of love towards yourself, like practicing self-care and things like that, instead of necessarily relying on it from outside of you. And this is like, you know, pretty understandable, just like given where we are in the world. Like it's a bit of a challenging time, so of course you're going to feel like a little bit stuck and weird and like figuring some stuff out right now, but I think like all of this is lining you up with a kind of unexpected path. Like I'm sensing that a lot of these blocks are maybe intentional, and you figuring out a way around them is actually going to bring you closer to something like really beautiful and unexpected from Spirit, like a gift of some kind. I think it's really important that you kind of accept kind of these blocks and figure out a way around them, rather than kind of dwelling on the fact that you have maybe a little bit of absent like feeling and inspiration right now. Like we have to really go through the lows to like integrate a lot of lessons and become much more wise and like much more powerful in those kind of like higher energy moments. And I think it's important for you to exercise some boundaries right now, just based on you knowing where your energy's at. Your capacity might be a little bit lower right now than what it usually is, and just like really honoring that and just like really worrying about yourself right now, because it seems like you've got a lot of stuff to focus on and you might not have energy for as many other things as you normally would or you would like to have energy for. So we have some more oracles. We have you're very close to achieving your goal, your commitment is being tested, luck is on your side, and adjustments are required. So definitely adjustments are required with this King of Wands energy, like fulfilling, like becoming your own like kind of visionary and leader and like directing your own life. Know that your guides are like on your side, and as I was saying before, like they're trying to redirect you into something better. So it's important that you really go with the flow. And I'm sensing that your commitment is being tested is more about like your commitment to yourself. Like, can you commit to yourself and trust yourself in such a way that Spirit can really give you all these gifts that it's trying to line up for you? And it seems like you're definitely on the path, because this you're close to achieving your goals card wouldn't come out if like you weren't already well on your way to kind of seeing these energies like manifest. But let's see if there's any more oracles for you. Abundance. Yeah, so this card says prepare yourself for incoming abundance, release any mental blocks you might have. In fairyland and human land, there is enough abundance for everyone. So yeah, this is definitely what's lining up for you if you can really like go with the flow and like let things be sticky, let yourself be redirected, so you can end up somewhere more beautiful than you expected. But let's get an affirmation for you. So we have, my motivation is fueled by the thrill my goals will bring. I'm ready to create my dreams. Yeah, so you have probably been feeling pretty stuck and not motivated, but like picturing the end goal of this like kind of abundant like energy, even though you might be going somewhere a little bit unexpected. So the physical of it like might not be super obvious to you right now. Like focus on the feeling. And know that that will help motivate you and help align you with what it is that you're dreaming of in terms of those feelings. But I think I'm going to leave that there. I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed. It was a pleasure reading for you. My name's Jade Wilding, and I'll be on this channel doing intuitive tarot card readings for whenever you need it. So if you can like, comment, and subscribe, I would really appreciate that, because it'll help me stay on your feed for more readings like this. But until next time, ciao. Hi Gemini energies, welcome to your reading. Let's get into it. I'm first just gonna see if there's any other energies that are gonna be relevant to our general reading today. Okay, this is interesting. Okay, this is very interesting. So in the first and last reading of the day, like the rulers of the energies have come out in the reading. So Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and they together rule the third house of like communication, and like kind of like your first interaction with the world. So a lot to do with like schooling and like basic learning, as well as like your connection to other people and like being able to communicate with them as two individuals and like come together. Mercury also rules Virgo. The more communicative side of Mercury rules Gemini, and the more analytical side of Mercury rules Virgo, and the 6th house of routine. And then we also have the air element of communication, which is interesting because, again, that's pretty much this Gemini Mercury 3rd house energy to a T. So very interesting, probably heavy Virgo Gemini energy here, but let's see what general energies we have for you. What general energies do we have for this Gemini reading, please? So Spirit's really asking you to honor your truths when it comes to spirituality, especially in regards to relationships. This might be a relationship that you're in, or in relation to a relationship that you might be about to enter, like if you've got some sort of something brewing, or it could be just like general relationship energy for you. That it's really important right now that you honor your own spiritual truths, and like, so this 8 of Cups is Saturn in Pisces energy. So Pisces is very like watery, spiritual, like kind of like believe in the woo-woo kind of energy, and Saturn is like all about honoring your truth and like taking responsibility for like kind of your spiritual path. And in relationships, it's really important that that energy is really present in the connection, so that two people can meet as equals. Often when this 8 of Cups is like in reverse or in its like lower polarity, like that is like the two people aren't honoring their spiritual truths, it does often create separations in relationships, and like either abandonment or two people like really needing to retreat into their own space and work on themselves before they can like re-enter either this partnership or another. And so like these coming out right way up are telling me that the energies at the moment are fairly positive still, and there's still a lot of space for you to like reconnect with those spiritual truths. However, like I would say that if these energies don't kind of change based on your own spiritual work very, very soon, then this 8 of Cups could like kind of flip into that reverse polarity and like create some sort of like separation or abandonment, especially if you are already in a connection or you're about to enter into a connection. And if you are in separation from someone, like that could be the kind of energy that like created that separation. And like honoring your spiritual truth right now has a lot to do with understanding some of your kind of like deep wounds and stories. So this 5 of Swords in reverse often indicates like kind of falling on your own sword when it comes to your own stories about life. And this 8 of Pentacles energy is like heavy kind of like learning and understanding kind of energy. 8 in Kabbalah Tarot represent like abundance, so communication, expression of energy, reasoning, action, and movement. So it's like heavy, like kind of understanding things. It's a Sun in Virgo energy, and Virgo is this like analytical energy, so it's very much bringing out that like full potential when it comes to like understanding things. So it's important that you like really understand yourself and your own stories right now, because Spirit doesn't want those stories like getting in the way of your connections, either in the future or now, or the connections that it's potentially ruined from the past. Like, take that with a grain of salt, because I don't think anything's actually ruined. But anyway, actually I'm gonna start go here next. Some of the things that might be helpful when you're doing this work is meditating, like doing lots of rituals, and like increasing like your like kind of generosity and giving to others. Those are all things that will help you like uncover some of these spiritual truths. Our rituals and meditation practice are like really connecting like us to the divine. Like, it's the connection between like kind of ether, spirit, and like physical matter or physical incarnation. So those are all things that spirit really wants you to like incorporate into your practice a lot more at the moment. So we have 7 of Swords, 9 of Swords, 8 of Wands, and Hanged One. So 9 of Swords is Mars in Gemini energy. 7 of Swords is Moon in Aquarius energy. This 9 of Swords, that Mars energy, it can be very like Mars and Gemini, so that's fire and air, and like we know that when fire and air like combine, sometimes they can create a bit of a storm, because there's so much like yang kind of energy, like there's no kind of like groundedness, and so this 9 of Swords can very often lead to kind of like feelings of like anxiety or depression, because like there's so much like yang and not enough like yin groundedness in this energy. It is positive in a way that like sometimes like kind of really shaking things up and like noticing where we're getting like a little bit like kind of anxious. Like sometimes there's something there that needs to be changed. So Spirit's asking you to pay attention to anything that's like giving you that kind of anxious energy, and seeing what needs to be changed with that energy, like whether that's changing how you relate to it, changing your communication, changing or just like letting something go. Yeah, and so using those kind of like anxieties as teachers with this 9 of Swords upright. Usually when 9 of Swords comes out upside down, it's like the anxieties aren't teachers, they're overwhelming and overpowering. So I'm getting like you're probably experiencing some anxiety right now, but at the moment it's fairly manageable. Like you might have moments, but overall the energy is definitely trying to direct you at areas of your life that you need to like change. And then this 7 of Swords energy is Moon in Aquarius. So the moon has a lot to do with like the unconscious mind and like things that we're not aware of. Like it's very much about hidden things. And Aquarius is like, it's an air energy, and it's kind of very, I would say, like mysterious. It's got that kind of like Uranus, like unique, kind of go against the grain kind of energy about it. And so 7s of Swords like can, in its like lower polarity, indicate like deceptions and betrayals and like things kind of like coming out of the blue and surprising you. I would say that based on this card coming out upright, that maybe there's opportunity for you to like really discern at the moment like hidden truths and like hidden like dangers using this like kind of meditation ritual and generous energy. Like if you're giving to people and they're not giving back, like that's definitely a sign that like there's red flag behavior there. And often when we're meditating, like some of these unconscious hidden truths can like reveal themselves to us. So yeah, there's definitely opportunity for you to like explore anything that might be hidden to you right now, especially with this Hanged card upside down, like it can also represent like hidden truths and like yeah, things being like people being shady, essentially. Like it's heavy like Neptune energy. So yeah, like very kind of woo woo, like kind of like an intuition that you like can't even explain where it came from because it's just like so right. And yeah, so we're left with this Mercury 8 of Wands energy, which is, yeah, Mercury in Sagittarius. So right way up, this often represents kind of like physical change and movement, because Sagittarius is like kind of the explorer, wanderer, seeker kind of energy. And Mercury, like part of that energy is like kind of how things work, moving parts, like things kind of progressing kind of energy. But this coming out upside down is telling me that maybe there's some stickiness for you at the moment, and things will start to kind of release as you like uncover where your anxieties are kind of like pointing you to things that need to change, and also like where your intuition is flagging something that's kind of like not passing the vibe check. Like once you kind of like unpack some of that, like things will start to progress and move forward for you, but until then like you may feel a little bit stuck. But let's get some oracles for you. This is very interesting. It's very, I would say, complex for sure. So we have assessing. Yeah, this is like a very complex energy. Like seems like there's a lot going on for you right now. So there's probably going to be lots of opportunity to like reflect, for you to like essentially have a big change, a big upheaval that's going to create kind of like a new cycle and a new pattern in your life. You're probably like purging a lot of stuff from like previous cycles, I'm getting. So that's definitely adding to the intensity. I think with this resistance card, like this may be resistant from like external sources that like your anxiety and your intuition is like trying to tell you is like not passing the vibe check and then gotta go. They might resist it, and you might need to be like really firm and keep your eye on this like new beginning to know that they gotta go even if they resist. But I think this energy also refers to like, don't resist doing all this work. Like, yes, this is a lot of kind of shadow work right now, but if you don't do it, as I was saying before, like a lot of these energies that came out upright, meaning that like the energy is generally positive right now and there's lots that you can do for it, like they'll start becoming like reverse. They'll start becoming their lower polarity and like really negatively impacting your life. So yeah, it's important that you don't let pride get in your way, don't resist, don't kind of think it'll be fine or whatever, and like really like start paying attention to some of the ways that Spirit's trying to like shake some stuff up for you and like align you with love a lot more. So this new moon in Aquarius is very similar to this 7 of Swords moon in Aquarius energy. Like it's really important that you bring love into the situation, and also like just watch out for like any shady stuff, like what's aligned with the most loving reality, and just like pursuing that energy. But let's get you a fairy oracle. Ooh. So we have look in a book and wait for winter. So look in a book is whatever your question right now, you'll find the answer in a book. The words will bring you the insight you seek. So with a lot of these energies that are like a little bit challenging right now, it's probably important for you to like do some like kind of research and like maybe learn some new skills from books, whether that's like kind of spiritual lessons or, you know, whatever it might be. Like really like embracing this 8 of Pentacles, like education, learning energy, and like kind of helping yourself like level up when it comes to all these energies. So we have wait for winter. During the colder months of the fairy queen of winter will help you manifest your most heartfelt wishes as long as your intentions are for the highest good of all. So winter's really like a like introvert, introspective, like self-work, kind of shadow work kind of time, whereas summer's like more of that vibrant, like going out and like exploring the world kind of energy. But in the winter, like it's a really good opportunity to introspect of like kind of where you want your life to go and like what you want to happen. And so like you can do lots of self-work to like manifest the reality that you want, that will gain momentum as you move through spring and summer. And given that we're in the age of Aquarius, the more that you're manifesting a reality that's benefit for like kind of the highest good of all, the more powerful your manifestations are, the more likely they are to come true and come true quickly. So yeah, like paying attention to that in this time, and like manifesting throughout this period. If you're like in spring and you're about to go through summer, like I would say this is like a metaphorical winter where like you're doing introspection, even though it's like a little bit against the grain of the season. But if you're about to move into like actual winter, like making sure that you're allowing that full season to be themed by your own introspection and growth. But let's get an affirmation for you. Do you have an affirmation for this Gemini energy, please? So we have two. We have, I allow myself to rest and I reap the benefits of my hard work, and my motivation is fueled by the thrill that my goals will bring. I'm ready to create my dreams. Yeah, so I think like don't go too hard with this kind of like stuff, like still enjoy your life and like rest and chill and like enjoy the space, because there's actually a lot of benefit in the space. The space has a lot to offer you, and just like keeping that eye on your dreams will definitely help you get through this time when things do get a bit challenging, because they probably will. But I think I'm going to leave that there. I hope you got everything out of this reading that you really wanted and needed. My name's Jade Rewilding, and it's been a pleasure reading for you. If you can like, comment, and subscribe, I would really appreciate it, because it'll help me stay on your feed for more intuitive tarot readings like this. But until then, ciao.